Hi guys, in this tutorial I'm going to talk about working with lists in Python. So a lot of times when you're programming in Python, you might be dealing with large amounts of data. So in Python we have this structure called a list that we can use to store large amounts of data, and it also allows us to organize and keep track of that data too. So I'll just tell you the basics of a list, and in my Python file right here, let me create a list right now. So you can create a list a lot like a variable, like a Python variable. You first have to assign the name. So in my case, I'm gonna say friends equal to. So for list, you use open and closed brackets. So as you can see, this is a list. But right now our list doesn't have any information or any data. So I'm gonna add some data into it. I'm gonna just add some names into it. Now I'm gonna say Kevin, Mike, and Oscar. Yeah, so as you can see, we created a list, and our list also has some data. It is storing some data. So unlike a variable, in this you can store multiple amounts of data, multiple elements, while in variables you can only store like one element, one string, or one number. So that's how it works. So let me print it right now, friends, and if I run it, as you can see, it says Kevin, Mike, and Oscar. It printed the whole list. So lists are pretty useful. You can enter a lot of information into it, and when you create a list, you have different elements. Like in mine, I have three: one Kevin, one Mike, two, and Oscar, three. So for different elements, Python automatically assigns an index. So in Python, an index starts with 0, then 1, then 2. So this is the index. So Kevin is index 0, Mike is index 1, Oscar is index 2. So we can use this index to print certain information. Like I want to print only Kevin but not Mike and Oscar. So I can do that by friends, open and close brackets, and Kevin's index. So it was 0, and if I run it, as you can see, it says Kevin. So it's only taking Kevin and ignoring the rest of the values. And if we do the same, 1, as you can see, Mike. And as you can see now, Oscar. So and what if, like, you wanna change the value in index 2? Like I wanna change the value of index 2. So we have like friends, and I could put open and close brackets, and index 2, as we want to change that value equal to, we could assign it a new name. We could assign it Toby. And if I run it now, you can see it says Toby instead of Oscar. So, and let me run the full list. And as you can see, Oscar is gone. Instead, we are printing Toby. So that's how that works. So that is the basics of lists. Now, we gotta cover list functions. They basically allow us to remove or add things to a list or modify the lists. So let me so the first function I have right here is append friend. So we could use it by, like, if I type friends dot append, what it does is it actually adds a single element to a list. So if I can add another name. I could say Cody. Now if I run it, as you can see, it says Kevin, Mike, Oscar, and Cody. I this is very useful. You could, you know, enter, you could like add information with it. You could add one element, but you can only add one element with it. And next we have extend. So for that, let me create another list. So I'm gonna say numbers equal to 1 4 2 7 8 no 9 6 2, and then friends dot extend. This also adds information to a list, but instead of adding a single element, you can add a lot of stuff. Like this is not a single element, they're like multiple numbers, so you use that when you need to add multiple stuff. So if I run it now, as you can see, it has added 1 4 2 7 9 6 2 to this list right here. So that's what this does. And the next we have is index. So we use index like this, friends.index. Suppose like I want to get the index of Kevin. I don't know its index, so that's what it prints out, the index of a certain element that you write. So it says 0, as you can see. Kevin's index is 0. Let me do it for Mike, and let me run it now. As you can see, index 1 for Mike, and for Oscar 2. Oscar. And if I run it 2, as you can see, that's what this function does. And the next we have is insert. This also adds a element or adds element or some data to the list. So I could say friends.insert. But what this does different is it gets a specific index and adds the element at a specific place. So suppose I don't want to enter it at the back, but I want to enter it between Kevin and Mike. So I could enter it at Mike's position, and these two would be pushed over. So one index, and I could say anything I'm gonna add. I could say Kobe. Let me run it, and as you can see, it added Kobe, and Mike and Oscar got pushed over. So that's what this does. It is a good function. And then we have some more functions. One would be friends.remove. So if we want to remove one of these guys, so let me remove Oscar. Let me run it now. As you can see, now Oscar has disappeared because we put this function right here that removes any any element that you put inside that. And let me do it for Mike. And as you can see, now we have Kevin and Oscar. So one more of this function is pop. So for this, it automatically removes the last element. So you cannot add any other ones. Like I want to remove Mike, so Oscar is at last, so it will remove Oscar only. So that's what this does. Next we have reverse. So if we want to reverse like 1 4 2 7 9 6 2, we want to reverse it, and 2 should be in the front. We could do that. I could say friends. No, let me do numbers dot reverse. Wait. Yeah. And then let's see. Wait. I didn't print numbers, instead I print friends numbers. Now let me run it. As you can see, it prints 2 6 9 7 and 2 4 1 instead of 1 4 2 7. So it basically reversed the order. And we could also do it for the friends list. Friends, friends. And if I do, as you can see now, Oscar is at the front and Mike and Kevin are at the back. Before, Kevin was at the front and Oscar was at the last. So that's what this does. It can reverse anything. Next we have sort. Friends.sort. What this does is it sorts the elements or values that we have inside a list into alphabetical order for strings, and for number it sorts it from the less to greater. So 1 would be less, so it would be the first one, and 2 and it follows. As you can see, it is already in like a alphabetical order. Let me try doing something else. I could put Toby, and now if I run it, see, as you can see, Toby gets pushed at the back because of this sort, as it is sorting it into alphabetical order. Now let me do it for number. And numbers, and now if I run it, as you can see, it sorts 1, 2, 2, 4, 6, 7, 9 from least to greatest. So that's it for this video, guys. We just went over the basics of lists and list functions. Hope you guys liked the video, and please like and subscribe, and see you in the next one.